We're here because you're looking for the best of the best of the best, sir.
Well, that's right. We're always looking for the best of the best of the best, sir. This is Tim with New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. How to fix my headphones. Want to talk about Daniel Jones. Want to talk about the Mike Lombardi interview, who's discussed Daniel Jones and the New York Giants and the state of the Giants. Want to talk about Pro Football Focus. Want to talk about CBS Sports. Want to talk about why the national media is still turning their back on Daniel Jones after 6 years. I mean, it's a shock to me. I mean, they've only seen him play for 5 years, and we seem to be the only ones, maybe outside of New York. These entities outside of the New York bubble just don't seem to like Daniel Jones. And I'm not understanding exactly why. CBS Sports came out the other day and said that it named Daniel Jones the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. Pro Football Focus also comes out and puts him on the bottom tier. And the bottom tier are Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix, and a few other people. And then there's Daniel Jones. And then they write, Jones was the third-ranked quarterback in Pro Football Focus grade on his own team last year, third-ranked on his own team. Behind Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito, Jones played in just 6 games in 2023. It was basically neither elite or one of the worst. It was basically neither elite or one of the worst graded quarterbacks in a given week, with no in-between. He's a good athlete who rushes productions, and the ability to escape the pocket has always been a big part of his game. But in 4 of his 5 years with the Giants, he has finished with more turnover-worthy plays than big plays. His average depth of target has been low over the past 3 seasons. I've been saying this for the last 4 years. I think Daniel Jones' average depth of target is like 7 yards, if not less. Trevor Lawrence has the same type of issue, and I don't understand that with Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence has one of the prettiest deep balls I've seen in years. But he's another one that has this ability to check down and take the shorter route. And I kind of think it's funny that people are starting to notice. Not people are starting to notice. People have noticed for years that Daniel Jones just is not a good quarterback. And you don't want to be, you're not sitting there trying to be mean about it, but when you're ranked below Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Will Levis, and you're the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants, you got $160 million. What are the Giants not seeing that almost the entire league and sports writers and everyone outside of New York are seeing? I don't know. I know what they're seeing. They're seeing the truth. That's what the problem is. They're seeing the truth. They're seeing that he doesn't have the ability to do certain things. He doesn't have the ability to make pre-snaps reads. He doesn't even call out the mic. We already heard that the center is doing things such as that and making the line adjustments. And I love it because then you have people like, well, Daniel Jones was totally disrespected by CBS. No, they're just honest. And I think that's what we need to be in New York. And maybe one day we are going to reach that pinnacle. And I love it because people are like, well, we're going to just draft a a wide receiver to make our quarterback better.
Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty bad.
How many times in the history and the annals of the NFL have you seen the team say, we need to make our quarterback better, so we're going to draft him a wide receiver, and that should make him better? Going out and getting smooth sounds of Kenny G, going out and getting Waller, going out and getting Paris Campbell, go out and getting Kadarius Toney, going out and keeping Saquon Barkley. I guess when we going out and getting Wan'Dale Robinson, I guess all those guys just sucked. And it's all, and they just held Daniel Jones back. Mike Lombardi gave an interview about the Giants. And I want to play some of this because I think it's very apropos. They briefly talk about the Jets and the Giants, but then they really get into the Giants.
Decade plus. Obviously, John Morrow's an impressive guy, but it's safe to say he got pretty heavily involved when it came to Daniel Jones. There was a story recently about the Jets wanting to hire a guy over Nathaniel Hackett. To me, a coach or a GM, if you want a new offensive coordinator, you would just fire your offensive coordinator or hire a guy. That feels like a Woody Johnson problem. Do you think the New York teams have an owner meddling issue? Right?
I'll answer that. Yeah.
Well, I think the Jets clearly do. I mean, when Woody Johnson came out and said that, we're not trading Zach Wilson, and he had comments on all that. Yeah, I do.
We're going to play the second because I think it's interesting.
I think the Jets are different in the sense that they were trying to manage a problem. They're trying to make everybody happy. They were trying to make their offense happy by hiring somebody over Nathaniel Hackett, but make Aaron Rodgers happy by not firing Nathaniel Hackett. And nobody gets made happy anywhere. The Giants, I think, have just been, John has run the team. I've been saying this forever. And I like John. John's a real.
And first of all, it's Mr. John Mara. Get it right, Mike.
Nice man, a genuinely nice human being. But I think it's a family-run business. And I think they have a hard time of being objective about.
We haven't been objective since we gave Eli Manning that second contract. Hold on, we're gonna get this good.
They're doing, and they fall in love with players. And when they gave Daniel Jones that money last year for no reason other than the vindication of that they drafted him 6th overall was a mistake. I mean, if you go back and ask one simple question, why did we win and why did we lose? The Giants, when they went to the playoffs, didn't win because Daniel Jones was good.
Thank God someone else besides me said it. I kept telling you people there was at least 6 games that we don't win without Saquon Barkley. Maybe there's 1 game we don't win without Daniel Jones.
One, because they managed the game. They won in 3 dimensions. They played good offense, good defense, good kicking game. But he didn't carry the team.
Maybe that 1 game he did, and in Minnesota.
He didn't carry the team whatsoever. And who was going to sign him to that contract anyway? Who were you competing against?
We talked about this before. We talked to people that worked in different organizations or had worked for different organizations in the league during the Daniel Jones signing process, and people were like, we wouldn't even give him Mitchell Trubisky money. And people were laughing. They're like, who are the Giants competing against for the services of Daniel Jones? I had one gentleman who told us, who's been right about numerous things. We've talked to him before. He basically said there's no team out there that wants Daniel Jones more than the Giants, and there's probably only one team out there that wants Daniel Jones, and that is the Giants. So the Giants, again, were competing for the services of a player that no one else wanted because of the sheer fact out of either loyalty, stupidity, or the fact that they felt that he was going to be the best quarterback option, even though Baker Mayfield played better.
Nobody. I think if they got a redo, you would have to give Saquon Barkley an extension because the running backs make such little money. It might have been $35 million guaranteed. Franchise Daniel Jones, and you would have been off it this year, and you would have still had the dynamic player at a relatively cheap price.
And he wouldn't be in Philadelphia.
The deflation in running back contracts and be rid of Daniel Jones instead of you're stuck with this contract. I don't know about you, Mike. I think they're going to be pretty bad. I mean, I think they're going to really struggle. They don't have a quarterback.
You and I.
We got the kid from the CFL. He couldn't cut it in the CFL, so when he decided to do, hey, listen, I can't cut it in the CFL, so I'm going to go over and be the quarterback for the Giants.
No, that somebody's going to have a high pick next year, right? I mean, not everybody's going 10-7. When you look at Daniel Jones's inability to throw the ball down the field, which has been horrible, right? He's never averaged, John. He's never averaged over 7 yards per attempt.
I've been saying this for years. And maybe this is just the Tim Vindication show, but I've been saying this for years. He doesn't get the ball downfield, even when he has the opportunities. And all of his big plays, especially in that playoff season, were busted plays that were made by the skilled position players.
Career. He's never averaged over 7 yards per attempt in his career. So you're asking a guy, he doesn't throw the ball down the field, and there's 1,000 reasons why he can't throw the ball down the field, but you can't win.
Reason one, he sucks.
Quarterback who won't throw the ball. It's one of my biggest concerns, and I was a huge Trevor.
Wait a minute. I love it. It's one of those big concerns. I love Mike. It's one of those big concerns. We have a quarterback who doesn't throw the ball. Yeah, that's like you have a pitcher who can't pitch.
Fan, but Lawrence doesn't throw the ball up the field either. It's a huge concern. But one of the things is Warren Sharp put this out, and this is based off of clutch quarterbacks with the last 5 minutes since 2000. Okay, and you have to have at least 45 minimum attempts in this category. And when you go through it, I mean, Daniel Jones is 42nd out of 56.
42nd out of 56.
Davis Mills is actually ahead of him.
The dangerous David Mills is ahead of him.
Jones is ahead of him. Mike Glennon, Andy Dalton's ahead of him. Carson Wentz is ahead of him.
If Mike Glennon's ahead of you for any statistic, you should automatically just retire.
Kenny Pickett's actually ahead of him. So, I don't understand how anybody thinks that this guy's going to be good, and now he's coming off of a neck injury. I think it's a problem. I don't think they're good either. I think they're changing what they're doing defensively. They want to play Tampa. They want to play bend but don't break. They're going to be trying to stay within the game and not blitz and do all that. Okay, but at some point, you want to get off the field, you got to play man-to-man, and you got to have the pressure to pass it.
Totally agree. I went back and looked at clips of Bo Nix the other.
They went to the Bo Nix, and I thought that was very apropos. I'm not a big Shane Bowen fan. I've said this a million times before. I've seen his defenses the last 2 seasons in Tennessee. I saw what he did with Jim Schwartz as his mentor and on that staff, and I saw what he did without Jim Schwartz. And it's going to be one of those situations that his secondaries are always pretty bad. Even when you have all pro safeties, he's had really bad secondaries. And the question is going to be, in a lot of the games that they lost last year in Tennessee, especially lost in going into overtime and in overtime, was because of the inability of the defense to stop anybody. Now, you can have Kayvon Thibodeau, you can have Brian Burns, you can have Dexter Lawrence on that front line, but if you have nothing behind them outside of Deonte Banks, and you have Spawn and Sane and Pray for Rain, things could go bad quickly and rapidly. And I think Mike's perspective basically wrapped it up, and he hit the nail on the head on a lot of great points. So the question is going to be, who is going to quarterback the Giants? Can Daniel Jones stay healthy? Why do we really think a quarterback going into year 6 is going to be anything different than he was the first 5 seasons? What is the idiocy that keeps us revolving around a guy who can't throw the ball 7 yards down the field? All interesting topics. And as always, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.